Welcome to the Lincoln Bio Podcast, your one-stop destination for life-changing insights on health, wealth, legal education, relationships, and more. Ready to level up? Let's dive into the knowledge designed to transform your life.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty vital this time. Heart health. Got this guidebook here, and honestly, it's kind of blowing my mind already.
Yeah, it's packed with info. Heart attacks, risk factors, natural approaches, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of us, just the thought of a heart attack is enough to, send chills down your spine, you know?
For sure. But that's why this guidebook is so cool, I think. It's like it takes that fear and flips it into, knowledge and empowerment.
Exactly. Okay, heart attacks are serious, but the more we know, the better we can protect ourselves.
Right, 100%.
So let's just jump right in. The guidebook starts off tackling heart attacks head on. It says a heart attack, or what doctors call a myocardial infarction. It's like when part of your heart muscle actually starts to die.
Yeah, and that happens because the blood supply to that part gets cut off, usually by a blockage in one of the coronary arteries.
Whoa.
It's almost like a clogged pipe in your house, you know? If the water can't get through, things back up, and something's got to give.
Okay, that makes sense. So what actually causes that blockage? Is it like cholesterol buildup?
That's a big part of it. Over time, plaque, which is made up of cholesterol, fat, and other stuff, builds up inside the arteries, and that narrows them, making it harder for blood to flow.
So it's like a slow-motion traffic jam in your arteries.
Exactly. And then sometimes a blood clot forms on top of that plaque. Boom, total blockage. Heart attack city.
Okay, so are there, warning signs before it gets to that point?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if you're heading for a heart attack?
Such a good question. And you know what? The guidebook actually says there are often early warning signs, sometimes even days or weeks before an attack. Things like high blood pressure, chronic heartburn, feeling less fit than usual.
Really? Heartburn? I never would have connected that.
I know, right? It's not always the case, of course, but it's worth paying attention to, especially if you have other risk factors, you know?
Okay, good to know. So let's talk about the actual heart attack symptoms. It's not always the whole, dramatic clutching your chest thing you see in movies, right?
Nope, not always. While chest pain is common, it can feel different for different people. Some describe it as a tightness, pressure. Others more like a burning, almost like indigestion.
Huh. So not always that sharp stabbing pain people might expect.
Not necessarily. And to make things trickier, the pain can radiate to other parts of the body. Arms, back, neck, jaw, even your stomach.
So basically, any kind of unexplained pain or discomfort in your upper body could be a sign.
It's worth paying attention to, definitely, especially if it comes on suddenly or you've got other symptoms too, shortness of breath, sweating, feeling nauseous, lightheaded.
Whoa, okay, so there's a lot more to it than just chest pain. You mentioned before that women often experience heart attacks differently than men, too.
That's right. Women are more likely to have some of those less typical symptoms. Back pain, nausea, extreme fatigue. They might not even have any chest pain at all.
Wow, so important for women to be aware of those subtle signs and not just brush them off. But bottom line, if you're experiencing any of this stuff, man or woman, what's the most important thing to do?
Call for help. Immediately. Don't wait. Don't try to tough it out. Every second counts when it comes to minimizing damage to your heart.
And while you're waiting for help to arrive, does the guidebook say anything about, what to do?
It does. Lays out an emergency action plan, which is actually really helpful. We can get into that in a bit. But first, I think it's worth talking about the potential complications from a heart attack.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of dreading that part, but I know it's important to understand the full picture.
Totally. A heart attack can have a cascading effect on your body, leading to all sorts of complications. Some are quite serious, but understanding them can really push us to take heart health seriously in the first place.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Hit me with the big ones.
All right. Well, one of the most common is heart failure. Imagine your heart is like a pump, right? Circulating blood throughout your body.
Okay, picturing it.
Now, if a heart attack damages that pump, it can't work as efficiently anymore. It can't keep up with your body's demands, and that's when you get heart failure.
So your body isn't getting the oxygen-rich blood it needs.
Exactly. And that can lead to a whole bunch of problems. Fatigue, shortness of breath, fluid buildup in your lungs and legs.
That sounds pretty scary.
Yeah.
What about those heart valves I've heard about? Can those be affected by a heart attack too?
Oh, absolutely. Think of heart valves like one-way doors in your heart, making sure blood flows the right way. But a heart attack can damage those valves. They can get leaky or stiff.
Oh, no. Like a broken door.
Exactly. And that means your heart has to work harder to pump blood. more fatigue, more shortness of breath, and eventually it can even lead to, you guessed it, heart failure.
Wow, so it's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
One problem leads to another. Are there other complications we should be aware of?
There are a few more, but let's focus on one that's particularly serious: cardiogenic shock. This happens when the heart is so damaged by the heart attack that it just can't pump enough blood to meet your body's needs.
So it's like a complete power outage in your heart.
That's a good way to put it. It's life-threatening, requires immediate medical intervention.
Okay, starting to understand why acting quickly during a heart attack is so crucial. It's not just about surviving the attack itself, it's about preventing these long-term problems.
Exactly. Early intervention can make all the difference in the world, limiting damage and improving long-term heart health. And now that we've talked about the potential consequences, let's shift gears a bit. Let's delve into the guidebook's emergency action plan. What to do when you suspect someone's having a heart attack.
All right, I'm ready for that. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? Let's learn how to potentially save a life. So this emergency action plan sounds like time is, well, really of the essence when it comes to heart attacks. What exactly does the guidebook recommend we do if we think someone might be having one?
The absolute first thing, and no hesitation, call for help. Like, immediately, don't wait, don't try to drive yourself to the hospital or anything. Every minute counts.
Makes sense. Faster you get medical attention, the better the chances of survival, less damage to the heart.
Exactly. Now, while you're waiting for the ambulance, there are a few things the guidebook suggests. First off, try to stay calm.
Oh, sure. Easy to say in the moment, right?
I know, easier said than done, totally. But panicking can actually make things worse, It raises your heart rate, your blood pressure.
Okay, stay calm. Got it. Anything else we can do while we're waiting?
Yeah, actually. The guidebook recommends a couple of positions that might help. One is called the W position. Basically, you sit with your back supported, your legs bent, so your knees are up and your feet are flat on the ground.
So, kind of like how a toddler sits when they're playing.
Haha, perfect analogy. Apparently, this W position opens up your chest, makes it easier to breathe.
Huh, interesting. Any other position that's helpful?
There's one called the Venus position. You lie flat on your back with your feet elevated above your heart, helps improve blood flow, reduces strain on the heart.
Okay, the Venus position, I'm going to remember that one. It's like it could come in handy for like swollen ankles too.
You know what? It probably could. Now, a couple other quick things the guidebook mentions. Loosen any tight clothing. Make sure nothing's constricting blood flow. And if the person happens to have aspirin or nitroglycerin for heart problems, help them take the right dosage.
Got it. So basically, do what you can to make them comfortable, support their heart function until the paramedics get there.
Exactly. Now, there's one more technique the guidebook mentions that, I gotta admit, made me kind of scratch my head. It's called cough CPR, and it's supposed to be like a potential lifesaver if you're alone and having a heart attack.
Wait, cough CPR? Never heard of that. What is that?
So the idea is if you're alone and start having heart attack symptoms, you take a really deep breath and then cough forcefully. And you keep doing it repeatedly, like you're trying to clear something from your throat.
Trying to picture it. Sounds intense. But how would coughing even help your heart?
The theory is that the force of the coughing can actually help maintain some blood flow to the heart, keep it beating until medical help arrives.
Huh. So like a manual way to keep your circulation going.
Yeah, kind of like that. But I gotta say, I'm a little skeptical about this one.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
Sounds a little too good to be true.
Right. And it's super important to remember this technique is not a replacement for actual CPR. Some experts even say it could be harmful in some situations.
So it may be better to stick with calling 911 and, making the person comfortable while you wait for the pros.
Definitely. Okay, moving on from emergency response, let's get into risk factors for heart disease. Because the more we know about what puts us at risk, the more we can do to, protect ourselves, right?
Totally. And I think a lot of people have this idea that heart disease is like an older person's problem, but it can affect anyone, right?
Oh, absolutely. While age is definitely a factor, there are plenty of young people who develop heart problems. Understanding the risks is like step one in prevention, no matter how old you are.
So let's break it down. What are some of the things that increase our risk for heart disease?
Well, the guidebook divides risk factors into two categories, basically. Those you can control and those you can't.
Okay, let's start with the ones we can't control. What are we up against there?
Family history is a big one. If your parents or siblings have had heart disease, especially at a younger age, your risk is automatically higher. Doesn't mean you're destined to have heart problems, but it does mean you need to be extra careful about the things you can control.
Okay, so it's like you inherit a bit of a predisposition, but your lifestyle choices still have a huge impact.
Exactly. And then there's age, another one we can't control. Sadly, as we get older, the risk of heart disease goes up. It's just kind of how it is.
Not fair. Why does everything have to go downhill as we age?
I know, right? But it is what it is, so best we can do is focus on the stuff we can change. And then, unfortunately, gender plays a role too.
Wait, really? I thought men were more likely to have heart attacks than women.
True, but after menopause, women's risk actually catches up to men's. It's largely due to, the hormonal changes that happen during that time. So us ladies have to be extra mindful of our heart health as we get older.
Okay, so genes, age, and gender. Those are the things we can't change. But the things we can control. That's where we have some real power, right?
100%. And this is where the guidebook really gets interesting. It gives tons of practical advice on lifestyle choices that can, dramatically reduce your risk.
All right, give me the good stuff. What are the big ones?
Well, obesity is a major risk factor. Carrying extra weight puts a lot of strain on your heart, so maintaining a healthy weight is crucial.
Okay, that one seems pretty straightforward. Watch your diet, exercise regularly, the usual advice. What else is on the list?
Speaking of diet, that's another huge one. And this is where the guidebook gets really interesting. It goes way beyond just the typical, eat your fruits and veggies advice.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Spill the beans.
Well, it puts a huge emphasis on choosing organic foods whenever possible. It argues that factory-farmed foods, with all the hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, they can contain stuff that actually contributes to heart disease.
So it's not just what we eat, it's how it's produced.
Exactly. Opting for organic fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy products, all of it. It can make a big difference in, reducing your exposure to potentially harmful chemicals.
Okay, buy organic is going on my grocery list.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do to, clean up our diets?
The guidebook really goes after processed foods, especially the ones loaded with refined sugars, trans fats, excess sodium, all that.
Yeah, not surprising. Those are the villains in pretty much every healthy eating plan.
They are. They contribute to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, inflammation. Terrible for your heart.
So basically, it's all about choosing whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible. Fruits, veggies, lean proteins, whole grains, that kind of thing.
You got it. And speaking of things to avoid, let's not forget about smoking.
Ah, yes. The big bad wolf of health. Everyone knows it's terrible for your lungs, but it's pretty devastating for your heart too, right?
Oh, totally. It damages blood vessels, raises blood pressure, makes it harder for your blood to carry oxygen.
So basically, it's like slowly choking off your heart's lifeline.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
So if you smoke, quitting is, hands down, the single best thing you can do for your heart. And for the rest of your body, for that matter.
Okay. Message received, no more smoking. What about alcohol? Where does that fit into all of this?
Well, the guidebook takes a pretty moderate stance on alcohol. It actually suggests that a little bit, especially red wine, might have some heart protective benefits.
Really? I always thought any amount of alcohol was bad for you.
That's a pretty common misconception. It seems like moderate intake, and we're talking 1 drink a day for women, 2 for men, might actually raise good cholesterol and reduce the risk of blood clots.
Ah, so a glass of red wine with dinner could actually be doing my heart a favor.
Potentially. But it's super important to stress we're talking moderation here. Heavy drinking, on the other hand, will definitely damage your heart, raise your blood pressure, and lead to a whole slew of other health problems.
So, like most things in life, it's about finding that sweet spot, enjoying a little without going overboard.
Exactly. And let's not forget another big one, exercise.
All right, time to get moving. What kind of exercise does the guidebook recommend?
Well, first of all, it actually debunks this myth that all exercise is good for your heart. It specifically cautions against excessive jogging, especially on hard surfaces.
Wait, really? I always thought jogging was, one of the best things you could do for your heart.
It can be beneficial, but the guidebook makes the point that too much pounding on the pavement can actually damage your joints, especially as you get older.
Wow, had no idea. So what does it recommend?
It suggests high-intensity interval training, where you alternate between short bursts of intense activity and periods of recovery.
So like sprinting and then walking.
Exactly. You get your heart rate up, but without putting so much stress on your joints. It also recommends those total body, non-impact sports. things like swimming, rowing, even martial arts.
Love those ideas. Way more fun than endlessly jogging on a treadmill.
Right. And they work different muscle groups, get your heart pumping without overdoing it.
Right, I'm sold. Now, what about stress? Does that play a role in heart health?
Oh, absolutely. Chronic stress can wreak havoc on your body, your heart included. Raises blood pressure, increases inflammation, even contributes to those unhealthy habits like overeating or, smoking.
So finding healthy ways to manage stress is key. But, how do we actually do that? It's not like we can just eliminate stress from our lives.
You're right, we can't avoid stress completely, but we can definitely learn to manage it better. And you know what? The guidebook actually goes into some detail about natural ways to reduce stress and promote overall heart health.
Okay, I'm all ears. What does it have to say about stress management? Okay, so stress management. What does the guidebook recommend? What are some of the things that really jumped out at you?
Honestly, the focus on meditation and mindfulness, it was pretty surprising.
Really, meditation can actually, benefit your heart. I always thought of it as more of a mental thing.
I did too, but the research is pretty clear on this one. Meditation can have a profound impact on heart health. It can help regulate blood pressure, reduce those stress hormones, even improve sleep quality.
Wow, I never realized those things were all tied to heart health. So how does that even work? Just sitting quietly for a few minutes a day can actually make a difference.
It really can. Meditation helps calm your nervous system, and that in turn reduces the strain on your heart. It's like giving your heart a little mini vacation from all the demands of, daily life.
Ooh, I like that, a heart vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So what about reflexology? The guidebook mentioned that as a potential stress buster too, right?
Yeah, it did. Reflexology is, it involves applying pressure to specific points on your feet, hands, and ears.
Okay, gotta admit, I'm a bit skeptical about that one. How can pushing on your feet affect your heart?
I know, right? Sounds a little out there. But the theory is that these reflex points correspond to different organs and systems in the body, and by stimulating them, you can promote healing and balance.
So it's like acupuncture for your feet.
Kinda, yeah. And while the scientific evidence is still kind of iffy, a lot of people swear by reflexology for stress reduction and just overall well-being. And as we already talked about, anything that reduces stress can indirectly benefit your heart.
All right, fair enough. I'm open to it. Now, the guidebook also had a whole section on natural remedies for heart health, right? That's what I'm really curious about.
Me too. This is where it gets really interesting. The guidebook covers a bunch of natural substances that can support heart function. One that really stands out is coenzyme Q10.
Coenzyme Q10, that sounds pretty high-tech. What is that exactly?
It's a powerful antioxidant that's found in every cell in your body, but especially concentrated in your heart. It plays a vital role in energy production. So it's basically essential for keeping your heart pumping strong.
So it's like a spark plug for your heart cells.
Uh-huh. Love that analogy. And here's the thing. As we age, our natural production of coenzyme Q10 goes down.
Oh, no. So it's like our heart's battery starts to run low.
Exactly. Which is why the guidebook recommends supplementing with coenzyme Q10, especially as we get older. It can help, replenish those energy stores and keep your heart functioning at its best.
Interesting. So it's kind of like an energy drink for your heart?
I like that. Okay, another important area the guidebook dives into is minerals. Magnesium and potassium, specifically.
Okay, I've definitely heard of those.
Yeah.
But not sure exactly how they relate to heart health.
Well, both magnesium and potassium are key players in regulating blood pressure, which is, super important for a healthy heart. Magnesium helps relax blood vessels, while potassium helps counteract the effects of sodium.
Wait, sodium? As in salt. But isn't salt supposed to be bad for you?
That's the common belief, yeah. But the guidebook actually challenges that. It says that not all salt is created equal.
Okay, tell me more. I'm interested.
It makes a distinction between natural sea salt and, the processed table salt. Table salt is basically just pure sodium chloride, while sea salt contains all sorts of trace minerals that are actually good for your heart.
So, it's the difference between taking a multivitamin and just taking, a single vitamin supplement.
Perfect way to put it. Natural sea salt, in moderation, of course, can actually be beneficial for your heart because it provides those essential minerals that help regulate blood pressure and fluid balance.
Wow, that is fascinating. I've always been told to avoid salt like the plague, but it sounds like I need to rethink that.
I think a lot of people do. The guidebook really emphasizes that it's all about balance. You don't need to eliminate salt entirely, but choosing the right kind and using it wisely is key.
Okay, I'm definitely going to start looking for natural sea salt at the store. What else does the guidebook recommend?
Well, it also talks about the benefits of fish oil and other supplements. But it's super important to note, it stresses that you shouldn't rely on supplements instead of a healthy diet.
So food first, supplements second.
Absolutely. A balanced, whole foods diet should be the foundation of any heart-healthy plan. Supplements can be helpful to fill in any gaps, but they're not like a magic bullet.
That makes sense. What about vitamins? Any particular vitamins that are good for the heart?
There are. The guidebook highlights vitamin C. It can actually mimic the effects of, believe it or not, walking on your blood vessels.
Really? So if I'm stuck at my desk all day, popping a vitamin C can help counteract the negative effects of sitting too long.
That's what the research suggests. Vitamin C helps improve blood vessel flexibility and function.
Wow, pretty amazing. Stock up on vitamin C. Any other vitamins that are good for the heart?
It also mentions vitamin B9, which is also known as folic acid. It's involved in cell growth and repair, and it may reduce the risk of certain heart problems.
So where can we get more folic acid?
Leafy green vegetables, legumes, citrus fruits are all great sources.
Got it. Adding those to the list too. What else is on the natural remedy list?
The guidebook spends some time on the importance of enzymes.
Enzymes. Those are involved in digestion, right? What do those have to do with the heart?
You're right. Enzymes are key for breaking down food, but they also have tons of other jobs in the body, including heart function.
So how do we make sure we're getting enough enzymes?
The best way is through your diet. Focus on fresh, whole foods, especially raw fruits and veggies. They're naturally packed with enzymes.
Okay, so another reason to eat our fruits and veggies.
Exactly. And last but not least, the guidebook talks about the importance of antioxidants.
I know antioxidants are good for you, but I'm never quite sure how they work, to be honest.
So think of free radicals as these little troublemakers that damage your cells, like rust that eats away at metal. Antioxidants are the superheroes that neutralize those free radicals, protecting your cells.
Oh, okay. So they're like a shield for our cells.
Exactly. And when it comes to heart health, they help protect blood vessels from damage and reduce inflammation.
So where can we find these antioxidant superheroes?
Fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, green tea, all the good stuff.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. A healthy diet is the key to a healthy heart.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And lastly, the guidebook reminds us that our bodies are actually pretty awesome at detoxifying themselves. We just need to give them the right support.
So no need for those crazy juice cleanses or anything.
Not necessarily. It's more about supporting your body's natural detox process through, a healthy diet, enough water, and managing stress.
Okay, so back to the basics. Eat well, drink plenty of water, manage your stress. Sounds like a recipe for overall well-being, not just heart health.
Totally agree. Our physical health, mental health, emotional health, it's all connected. What benefits one area usually benefits the others.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've learned so much about how to keep our hearts healthy, from the science of heart attacks to natural remedies and stress-busting techniques.
It's been a great journey, and I hope everyone listening feels empowered to take charge of their heart health.
Me too. And as we wrap up, I just want to emphasize the importance of actually taking action. It's not enough to just know this stuff. We got to put it into practice.
Absolutely. Even small changes can make a huge difference. So to everyone listening, I want to leave you with this. What one small change are you willing to make today to invest in your heart health?
Such a good question. It could be adding an extra serving of veggies to your dinner, taking a walk at lunch, even just committing to 5 minutes of deep breathing every day. Every step towards a healthier heart is a step in the right direction.
And remember, your heart is an amazing organ. It's capable of resilience and strength. And by taking care of it, you're not just extending your lifespan, you're improving the quality of every single moment.
So well said. And on that note, we'll say goodbye for today. Be sure to join us next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those hearts healthy.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Lincoln Bio podcast. Want to dive deeper into today's topic? Grab your copy now. Just click the link in the description. Stay curious, stay empowered, and we'll see you next time.